Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever felt the weight of loneliness pressing down on your shoulders when the people around you seem to have 1,000 friends, yet you feel like you're walking through this world alone? It's a feeling that's hard to describe, but you know it all too well. The silence in your home, the empty chair beside you at social gatherings, the void that seems impossible to fill. But today, we're going to talk about something that many women experience, yet few speak about openly: the feeling of being a woman with no friend. What do you do when you're faced with the reality that the world around you feels connected, yet you're stuck in a place of isolation? What happens when, despite your best efforts, you can't seem to build the relationships that others seem to so effortlessly have? This feeling is not a reflection of your worth, but rather a signal. It's a signal that calls you to tap into your own strength, to dig deep and realize that you have the power within yourself to change your reality. First, let's talk about why this happens. The truth is, building and maintaining relationships can be incredibly challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. Life gets busy. We all have different priorities. You may have been hurt before, and the fear of opening up again holds you back. But here's something you need to remember: your value is not tied to the number of friends you have. It's tied to the incredible person you are and how you choose to show up in the world each and every day. The first step is understanding that you're not alone in this journey. Millions of women across all walks of life feel the same way. Whether it's because of a move to a new city, a change in lifestyle, or simply drifting apart from old friends, the experience of being alone, even in a crowd, is something that many can relate to. But here's where it gets powerful: being in this place of solitude doesn't make you weak. It gives you the space to discover who you truly are, to reconnect with yourself in a way that most people never have the opportunity to do. It's not a place to stay stuck, but a springboard to dive deeper into your own self-discovery. You see, before you can truly connect with others, you must first be comfortable with the person you are when no one is around. If you're constantly trying to fit into someone else's mold, you'll never find true, authentic connection. The first friendship you need to nurture is the one with yourself. Think about this: some of the most powerful, influential women in history didn't rely on a large circle of friends. They relied on their own resilience, their vision, and their ability to stand firm in their beliefs. They surrounded themselves with those who uplifted them, but ultimately they had to walk their own path. And this is the beautiful part: when you find peace within yourself, you attract people who are aligned with your energy, who truly understand your essence. You don't have to be someone else. You simply have to be the best version of yourself. I know it's not easy. I know that sometimes the loneliness feels unbearable and the isolation seems like it will never end. But let me remind you of something: every single woman who's ever achieved greatness started from somewhere. They faced doubts, insecurities, and moments of solitude. They felt the sting of rejection and the fear of judgment, yet they pushed forward. They didn't let the absence of friends define them. They defined their own path. So what do you do when you feel like you're a woman with no friends? Start by looking inward. Start by examining your own beliefs about yourself and about relationships. Do you believe you're worthy of deep, meaningful connections? Do you believe that you have the power to create and nurture those relationships? If you don't, then it's time to shift that mindset. It all starts with a choice. You can choose to stay stuck in the cycle of loneliness, or you can decide that today is the day you take responsibility for your emotional well-being. It's time to stop waiting for someone to come and fill the void. It's time to show up for yourself in a way you've never done before. How do you do that? By honoring your worth, by embracing your flaws and imperfections, and by making choices that bring you closer to the woman you aspire to be. Now, think about your past relationships. Are there any friendships that have faded, any connections that you've outgrown? Perhaps you've outgrown those relationships because they no longer align with who you are becoming. This is not a failure, it's a part of the process. People come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Sometimes the ones that leave make room for better, more meaningful connections. As you move forward, be open to new possibilities. Look at each new interaction as an opportunity for growth. Engage with people in a way that is authentic and true to yourself. Don't try to impress anyone. Just show up as you are. Some people will resonate with your energy and others won't, and that's okay. Remember, real friendships aren't about quantity, they're about quality. It's better to have a few genuine people who truly see and understand you than a crowd of acquaintances who never really get you. As a woman, you are inherently nurturing. You are capable of creating bonds that are deeper than what meets the eye. Don't let the fear of rejection stop you from reaching out to others. And don't let past disappointments make you believe that true friendship is something unattainable. The world is full of people, just like you, who long for authentic connection. Your journey isn't to find validation through friends. It's to discover the power within you to build a network of meaningful, uplifting relationships that will enhance your life, not complete it. Now, I want you to ask yourself this. If you had no friends right now, if you had no one to turn to, how would you spend your time? What would you focus on? The answer to that question holds the key to your next step. Because when you start focusing on your own growth, your own passions, and your own happiness, the right people will naturally be drawn to you. But here's where the real magic happens. When you stop seeking validation from others, you open the door to genuine connections. You become magnetic. People are drawn to you not because of what you can do for them, but because you embody the very thing they are seeking: a woman who knows her worth, who is confident in her own skin, and who is comfortable walking through life unapologetically. It's time to stop seeing your current situation as a setback. Instead, view it as an opportunity for rebirth. You can create your own community, whether it's with a small group of like-minded individuals or through new activities and hobbies that allow you to meet people who align with your values. And when you start building that foundation, those friends will come authentic, real friendships that support you, challenge you, and grow with you. But above all, remember this: you are enough just as you are. Your value is not determined by your friendships or the number of people who surround you. Your value comes from within. And when you truly believe that, you will start to attract relationships that reflect that truth. So take this moment as a turning point, as the day you decide to break free from the chains of loneliness and walk into a future filled with real, meaningful connections. No matter where you are on your journey, no matter how isolated you might feel at this moment, there is always hope. There is always a path forward. You just have to believe that you are worthy of it, because when you do, everything else will follow. The core message of the speech emphasizes that a woman's value is not defined by the number of friends she has, but by her ability to connect with herself and embrace her own worth. True friendship starts with a solid relationship with oneself, and personal growth is the foundation for attracting meaningful, authentic connections. The speech encourages women to view moments of loneliness not as setbacks, but as opportunities for self-discovery and personal empowerment. Being alone provides the space to heal, reflect, and build inner strength, which ultimately leads to forming deeper, more fulfilling relationships. The speech highlights the importance of showing up authentically and being true to oneself when engaging with others. Genuine, lasting friendships are built on mutual understanding and respect, and women should focus on quality over quantity when it comes to relationships. By being confident and unapologetically themselves, they will naturally attract people who resonate with their true essence. The journey to recognizing one's self-worth and inner strength is one of the most powerful transformations a person can experience. It is not a simple path, and it is often filled with challenges, self-doubt, and moments of vulnerability. But it is also a journey of profound empowerment, where you discover that the most important relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself. For women, this journey is especially critical, as society often places so many external expectations on how they should behave, look, or succeed. The truth is, these external measures of value can never define your true worth. True self-worth stems from within, from the way you perceive yourself, honor yourself, and respect your own needs, desires, and boundaries. There are times when we feel disconnected from ourselves, when external factors like relationships, career, or societal expectations dominate our sense of identity. In those moments, it can be easy to lose sight of who we are at the core. We might look to others for validation, hoping that the approval of friends, family, or even strangers will fill the empty spaces within. But no amount of validation from the outside world can replace the peace and confidence that comes from knowing who you are and embracing your own value. It's not about what others think of you, it's about what you believe to be true about yourself. Your value is inherent, and no one can take it away unless you allow them to. When we speak of self-worth, it's crucial to understand that it is not a destination, it's a process, a practice that you must nurture daily. It's not something you just wake up with one morning. Instead, it's a lifelong journey of remembering who you truly are beneath the roles, expectations, and labels that society, family, and even you might place on yourself. It's about peeling back the layers of doubt, fear, and insecurity and allowing your authentic self to shine through. This is not an easy feat. It requires courage to face the parts of yourself that you've buried deep inside, the fears, the insecurities, the parts of your past that you may wish to forget. But when you can look those aspects of yourself in the eye, accept them, and love them despite their imperfections, that's where true strength is born. Your inner strength is not about being perfect or never failing. It's about having the courage to show up for yourself every day, no matter the circumstances, no matter the obstacles, and no matter the mistakes. Inner strength is the ability to persevere even when it feels like everything is against you. It's the resilience to keep moving forward, even when the road is unclear, knowing that you have the power within to navigate it. It's about trusting yourself, knowing that you are capable of handling whatever life throws your way, and having the belief that you are deserving of love, respect, and happiness. When you begin to cultivate self-worth, you stop seeking validation from external sources. The need for constant approval begins to fade, and you start to see yourself as enough just as you are. This shift in mindset allows you to step away from toxic relationships, unhealthy patterns, and situations that drain your energy and diminish your sense of self. You no longer feel the need to prove your worth to others because you've already validated it within yourself. This is where true freedom lies, in knowing that you don't have to seek external validation to feel good about who you are. Building your self-worth is a process of becoming aware of your own unique strengths, talents, and qualities. It involves recognizing the value you bring to the world and acknowledging the ways you make a positive impact in the lives of others, even if it's not always visible. It means taking pride in your accomplishments, no matter how small they may seem, and understanding that your worth is not defined by how much you achieve or how much you do for others. You are worthy simply because you exist. And when you truly embrace this idea, you begin to shift your perspective. Instead of focusing on what you lack, you start focusing on what you already have: your skills, your passions, your ability to create, love, and inspire. However, cultivating self-worth doesn't mean avoiding challenges or denying the presence of pain. In fact, it's often through the most difficult moments that we learn the most about our strength. When life throws obstacles in our path, we have two choices: to let them define us or to use them as stepping stones for growth. True inner strength is found in the way we rise after falling, in the way we continue to stand tall even when we feel knocked down. It's the understanding that even in our most vulnerable moments, we are capable of finding our footing again and continuing the journey forward. One of the most important aspects of nurturing self-worth is setting healthy boundaries. Boundaries are not walls to shut people out. They are guidelines to protect your energy, your emotional well-being, and your sense of self. When you fail to establish boundaries, you risk losing yourself in the process of trying to please others or meet their needs. Healthy boundaries allow you to honor your own needs and values without feeling guilty or selfish. They teach others how to treat you, and they show you how to stand up for yourself in a way that is kind yet firm. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect, and when you establish them, you send a powerful message to the world that you value yourself and will not tolerate anything less than the respect you deserve. It's also important to recognize that your worth is not determined by your past. Many women struggle with feelings of unworthiness because of past mistakes, failures, or experiences of rejection. These past events, however, do not define you. Your past is simply a collection of lessons that have shaped you into the woman you are today. It's important to release the grip of guilt, shame, or regret that may be holding you back from moving forward. You are not your past. You are who you choose to become in the present. And with each new day, you have the power to redefine yourself, to let go of what no longer serves you, and to step into the future with a renewed sense of strength and purpose. Building self-worth also involves embracing your uniqueness and celebrating what makes you different. In a world that often tries to fit people into a certain mold, it's easy to feel like you don't measure up. But the truth is, your individuality is your greatest gift. It's the very thing that sets you apart and makes you special. When you stop trying to fit into society's standards and begin to embrace your authentic self, you will attract the people and opportunities that align with your true essence. And when you embrace your uniqueness, you empower others to do the same. True self-worth doesn't come from achievement, status, or possessions. It comes from the ability to recognize that you are valuable simply because you exist. It's the realization that you don't need to prove yourself to anyone because you are already enough. It's about stepping into your power, claiming your space, and living authentically without fear of judgment or rejection. It's about understanding that your worth is intrinsic, not dependent on external circumstances or the approval of others. As you continue on this journey of cultivating self-worth, it's important to remember that this is not a destination. It's an ongoing process, and it's okay to have setbacks along the way. Some days will feel easier than others, and that's perfectly normal. The key is to keep showing up for yourself, to keep nurturing your inner strength, and to keep believing that you are worthy of all the love, success, and happiness that life has to offer. Your self-worth is a reflection of your belief in yourself, and when you choose to see yourself as worthy, you begin to live in alignment with your highest potential. And in doing so, you create a life that reflects the beauty and strength that lies within you. Solitude is often viewed as something to be avoided, something that brings discomfort or sadness. It can feel isolating, lonely, and sometimes even overwhelming. But what if I told you that solitude, when embraced, can become one of the most powerful paths to personal growth and transformation? What if the moments you fear the most, those times when you feel like you're alone in the world, are actually opportunities to connect with your deepest self and unlock your true potential? This perspective on solitude is transformative because it shifts the focus from loneliness to self-discovery, from isolation to empowerment. When you allow yourself the space to be alone, to simply exist without the distractions of social media, obligations, or the expectations of others, something magical happens. You begin to hear the whispers of your own thoughts, to become aware of the desires that lie deep within you, and to reconnect with the essence of who you truly are. Solitude allows you to drop the masks and personas you've worn to please others and instead face the raw, unfiltered truth of yourself. In this space, you can ask yourself questions that you may have been too afraid to face when surrounded by noise and distractions. Who am I really? What do I truly want in life? What does success look like for me, not for anyone else? Many people fear silence because it forces them to confront the parts of themselves that they might not be ready to face. But when you lean into that discomfort, you begin to realize that these fears are often the key to unlocking your growth. The parts of you that have been hidden, suppressed, or ignored are usually the ones that hold the greatest potential for personal transformation. Solitude gives you the gift of time to nurture and heal those aspects of yourself, to look at them with compassion, and to make decisions that will serve you in the long run. One of the most profound aspects of solitude is the clarity it provides. When you're constantly surrounded by people, opinions, and noise, it can be difficult to hear your own inner voice. You may start to question your own beliefs, values, or even your path in life because you're so busy trying to meet the expectations of others. But when you are alone, you can silence the outside world long enough to tune into the stillness of your own heart. It's in this stillness that you find clarity. You can begin to uncover your own true desires, separate from the pressures of family, society, or friends. You may find that you've been chasing someone else's idea of happiness, success, or fulfillment, and solitude allows you to reassess what that looks like for you. Solitude also offers you the opportunity to develop self-reliance, an essential skill for personal growth. We often rely on others for validation, support, and comfort, but true strength comes from within. By spending time alone, you learn to trust yourself more deeply. You realize that you are capable of facing challenges, solving problems, and making decisions independently. You become your own source of strength, and as you cultivate this inner resilience, you build a solid foundation of self-confidence that no external source can take away. In solitude, you also have the chance to reflect on your past experiences without the influence of others' opinions. It's in this space that you can gain perspective on your struggles, failures, and triumphs. This reflection allows you to see patterns in your life that you might have missed when you were constantly caught up in the whirlwind of daily life. You might realize that what you once saw as failures were actually lessons in disguise, and that every challenge you faced has contributed to the person you've become. Solitude provides the time and space to process these experiences fully, to make peace with your past, and to use it as fuel for future growth. Moreover, embracing solitude gives you the opportunity to reconnect with your passions, to rediscover activities, interests, or hobbies that may have been pushed aside in the chaos of life. How often do we get caught up in the demands of work, relationships, and responsibilities, neglecting the things that once brought us joy? Solitude allows you to turn inward and explore what truly excites and inspires you. It's in these moments of solitude that you might pick up a forgotten book, paint for the first time in years, or reconnect with a creative outlet you once loved. These activities not only serve as a form of self-expression, but also remind you of your own unique creativity and potential. Another powerful aspect of solitude is the opportunity it gives you to strengthen your emotional intelligence. When you're constantly surrounded by others, you may find that you're more reactive to situations, letting emotions dictate your responses. But in solitude, you learn to sit with your emotions, to observe them without judgment, and to understand where they are coming from. This practice builds emotional maturity as you begin to recognize patterns in your emotional responses and develop healthier ways of dealing with difficult feelings. By learning to navigate your own emotions without the interference of others, you become better equipped to handle life's challenges with grace and composure. It's important to remember that solitude is not about isolation or withdrawing from the world entirely. It's about finding moments of peace and stillness in order to reconnect with yourself. The idea is not to escape from life, but to gain a deeper understanding of it by tuning into your own thoughts and feelings. True growth comes from the balance of interacting with others and taking the time to be alone with yourself. Solitude can help you recenter and recharge, allowing you to return to your relationships, work, and responsibilities with greater clarity, purpose, and energy. When we talk about solitude, it's also important to distinguish it from loneliness. Loneliness is a painful feeling of disconnection from others, while solitude is a voluntary and intentional choice to spend time alone for self-growth. You may feel lonely at times, but that feeling does not have to be a permanent state. Embracing solitude allows you to reframe the idea of loneliness. Instead of seeing it as a void, you begin to see it as a space of endless possibility. You learn to be your own companion, your own source of love and support, and over time you begin to shift your perspective. Loneliness becomes less about a lack of company and more about the opportunity to cultivate a deeper relationship with yourself. As you continue to embrace solitude, you will find that it has a profound impact on your sense of purpose. When you take time to reflect on your life, your values, and your aspirations, you gain a clearer sense of direction. You begin to make decisions that are aligned with your authentic self rather than following the crowd or succumbing to external pressure. Solitude allows you to reconnect with your true desires and to set intentions that reflect your highest potential. The more you embrace this time alone, the more confident you become in your ability to chart your own course in life. Through solitude, you also develop a greater sense of self-compassion. Being alone gives you the opportunity to treat yourself with kindness and understanding. When you're constantly around others, it's easy to forget to nurture yourself. But in solitude, you are forced to care for yourself in a way that honors your needs and well-being. You learn to be gentle with yourself, to forgive yourself for past mistakes, and to acknowledge the growth that has come from your experiences. This self-compassion becomes a powerful tool in your journey of personal development, as it allows you to be more patient with yourself and to embrace the process of growth rather than demanding perfection. The power of solitude lies in its ability to help you become more attuned to your own inner wisdom. When you take the time to be quiet and still, you create space for intuition to surface. You begin to trust yourself and the wisdom that flows from within. Solitude allows you to hear the whispers of your heart and soul, to discern the path that is right for you. It's in these quiet moments that you can cultivate the inner knowing that guides you through life with confidence and purpose. In embracing solitude, you don't just learn about yourself, you also learn how to engage with the world in a more meaningful and intentional way. Solitude helps you detach from the noise of everyday life to reconnect with what truly matters. It helps you prioritize your values, goals, and dreams, and enables you to show up in the world as the best version of yourself. You start to see the world not as something to be consumed, but as something to be experienced, appreciated, and understood more deeply. Solitude then becomes a path to personal growth because it allows you to return to your true self, the version of you that exists before all the distractions and external influences. It's in this space that you can heal, grow, and evolve into the person you were always meant to be. By embracing solitude, you unlock the potential for transformation and step into a life that is guided by your own inner strength, wisdom, and purpose. Authenticity is a concept that has gained significant attention in recent years, especially as we navigate through the complexities of building meaningful connections in a world that is increasingly fast-paced and filled with external influences. The idea of being true to oneself has never been more critical, particularly when it comes to relationships and the way we interact with others. Yet, despite its importance, authenticity can sometimes be challenging to practice. We live in a society that often values surface-level appearances and external validation over genuine connections. We may find ourselves altering who we are in order to fit in, to please others, or to meet societal expectations. However, the foundation of deep, meaningful relationships, whether romantic, familial, or platonic, lies in authenticity. Being authentic means showing up as your true self without pretense or artifice, and it's through this honesty that we are able to form the strongest and most lasting bonds with others. When you present yourself authentically, you allow others to see the real you, the person behind the masks, the walls, and the facades. Authenticity is about sharing your vulnerabilities, your strengths, your dreams, and even your fears without the fear of judgment or rejection. The beauty of authenticity lies in its ability to attract people who resonate with your true essence, not with an image or version of yourself that is curated to meet external expectations. When you embrace authenticity, you give others permission to do the same. This mutual exchange of honesty fosters an environment where trust, understanding, and love can flourish. One of the most significant barriers to authenticity is the fear of rejection. So often we hide parts of ourselves because we believe that if others truly saw us for who we are, they might not accept us. We may worry that our flaws, our insecurities, or our unique quirks will turn people away. Yet the paradox is that it is through showing up as our full, unfiltered selves that we attract the people who are truly aligned with us. The more we try to fit into a mold or to present a version of ourselves that is acceptable to others, the more we distance ourselves from the very connections we seek. We end up attracting people who like the image we've created, not the person we truly are. The process of embracing authenticity begins with self-awareness. Before you can show up authentically in your relationships, you must first know who you truly are. This requires taking the time to reflect on your values, your desires, your strengths, and your weaknesses. It means accepting yourself fully, including the parts of you that might not fit into society's standards of perfection. Authenticity is not about being flawless or always having it all together. It's about embracing your whole self with all of your complexities and contradictions. The more you accept and love yourself for who you truly are, the easier it becomes to express that authenticity to others. In building connections, authenticity fosters a deeper level of intimacy. When you show up as your true self, you invite others to do the same. True intimacy is not built on surface-level conversations or small talk. It's built on vulnerability, trust, and mutual understanding. Authenticity allows you to share your true thoughts and feelings without fear of being judged or misunderstood. It creates space for real conversations where both parties feel seen, heard, and valued. This is how deep connections are formed, not through pretending to be someone we are not, but through sharing our true selves with others. An important aspect of authenticity is being honest about your needs, desires, and boundaries. Often we avoid being open about what we need from others because we don't want to come across as needy or demanding. But when we fail to express our needs, we create an environment where our relationships are based on assumptions and unspoken expectations. Authenticity requires that we communicate clearly and honestly with those around us. It means having the courage to speak up when something doesn't feel right or when we need support. Being authentic in this way allows us to build relationships that are based on mutual respect and understanding, where both parties feel comfortable expressing their needs and working together to meet them. Another key aspect of authenticity in building connections is the ability to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is often viewed as a weakness in a world that values strength, independence, and self-sufficiency. Yet, vulnerability is one of the greatest strengths you can cultivate in relationships. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you show others that you trust them enough to be open about your fears, your insecurities, and your past experiences. Vulnerability creates a space for empathy and compassion, allowing people to connect with you on a deeper emotional level. It breaks down the walls that often prevent us from truly connecting with others and creates an opportunity for shared understanding and growth. Being authentic also means being unapologetically yourself, regardless of how others might react. It's easy to try to conform to the expectations of others, especially in social settings or at work, where there is often pressure to fit in and be accepted. However, when we constantly mold ourselves to please others, we lose touch with our true selves. Authenticity requires the courage to stand firm in who you are, even if it means facing judgment or criticism. When you embrace your true self, you stop seeking approval from others and begin to attract the people who resonate with you on a deeper level. These connections are far more meaningful because they are based on mutual respect and shared authenticity.